problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
We're talking about Washington State, UCLA, going to the West Coast.
It's just Washington, not Washington.
Close Washington. I'm looking at Flat Top.
I know, you got this.
Washington versus UCLA West Coast was cracking the whole 9 yards, as Big Boss would say. It's going down. This is a Friday night game in the Rose Bowl, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Text messages are coming in late night. We're talking about the Huskies 4-0 with the transfer quarterback Phoenix, 4-0 against spread, going against UCLA Bruins, who are 4-0 in the year, 2-2 against the spread, and had a couple of scares. Well, one some real scare this year so far. The line opened up in favor of of Washington's -3. There hasn't been too much movement on that line. It is still the same. Total opened up 63.5 right now. That line as a consensus is at 66. Injury reports right now, there aren't any reported for Washington nor UCLA. So we should have a good football game going down on a Friday night. Get to these actual factions real quick. Washington 4-1 against spread in the last 5 games. The overs hit 4 out of the last 5 games as well. They're also 4-1 straight up in the last 5 games, but 1-4 against the spread against UCLA in the last 5 matches that they faced. Washington State 5-14 in the last 19 games against UCLA as well. 1-8 straight up in the last 9 games when playing UCLA on the road. 1-4 straight up in the last 5 games against a Pac-12 conference opponent. UCLA, their actual factions is looking a little bit like this, man. They 5-2 against spread in the last 7 games. The overs hit 7 out of the last 9 games. They're 7-0 straight up in the last 7 games. The overs also hit 4 out of the last 5 games when playing against Washington. 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games at the crib. And as I explained before, 8-1 straight up at the crib whenever they're playing against Washington. The overs also hit 5 out of the last 7 games whenever UCLA plays in the month of September. So with that being said, we're going to take it to the West Coast. Not all the way Washington State, but almost over there by Washington State. We're going to let you start off with your rival Flat Top. Do you have a play for this one?
Yeah, I do. I am on Washington with the points here. What Penix has brought to them, he's got the 12 touchdowns, the 1 interception. He's taking care of the ball. He's being a leader for this team. Washington hasn't had a QB this good in quite some time. Defense has been the name of the game. They've only been giving up about 19 points a game, I think, right now. They played against what we thought was a decent Michigan State team, which has proven. We'll see when they get into conference play. They just went and handled business last week against Stanford. But offensively, I've been impressed. That was what I thought the biggest issue was going to be for them this year. They're usually pretty good on defense and haven't been able to get points. I know it's kind of daunting hearing that UCLA's got that 5-0. It might be one of those teams that's got their number, but I'm not scared with what Penix has been doing, how their offense has looked, throwing damn near 400 yards a game, rushing for another 160. I like Washington, in UCLA to cover this 3 points. So that is my official play.
All right. Marley, what's your official play for this game?
Yeah, I'm rocking with Flat Top on this one. I pretty much agree with everything he said. The addition to Phoenix to this team has pretty much changed the whole dynamic. Obviously, him and the coach come from Indiana, and they had that magical year. That 1 year, Phoenix got hurt, and that's pretty much what happened. Before that, they was rolling. I think they beat Ohio State. Did they beat Ohio State that year? I'm not sure, but they beat somebody big in conference that year. Yeah, they were rolling. I didn't spend too much time on it because, like I said, Flat Top said pretty much everything. I will touch on Wayne Talalapapa. I think I'm trying to say his name. Man, averaging 6.4 yards a carry. I think over 300 yards already, 3 touchdowns. And also, like he said, they typically play decent defense in Washington, so it's not all offense. As far as UCLA goes on their side of things, it's kind of hard to tell because they haven't played anybody, and that's the biggest determining factor for me. At least I know Washington is battle tested. I mean, they went up with what everybody at least thought was a good Michigan State team, and at least we know Stanford's always pretty decent. They're never at the top of the pack, but we know they're gonna come play good, disciplined football. So meanwhile, UCLA just hasn't played anybody. Alcorn State, they barely beat what is that? Alabama, USA,
South Alabama.
Yeah, South Alabama. That's what I meant. And a terrible Big Boss knows this. He that's one of his paid teams. A terrible Colorado team. And for me, I also like the over here though. That's a play that I'm on over 66. If anything, is Chip Kelly still at UCLA? I never keep up.
Yeah, he's still there.
So we know he's going to try a tempo pace. They're both going to try to score. Both of these teams are going to score points. So I'm loving the over as well. Over 66. That's an official play. And I'm also on Washington. I'm a money line that hoe more than likely because I like the total more than I do like the side. Because I just don't have a great read on UCLA. They haven't played anybody.
Line seems
fishy. That's why you heard me say I'm just going to money line that shit, Razor. Because yeah, it does. But I think Washington is the better team, though. I mean, based off what I've seen, but just who has UCLA played? They haven't played anybody. It's kind of hard to tell.
Line seems fishy. And that's why I'm just gonna take Washington on the money line. I'm not gonna play no games.
This that my bad, coach. Before this that late night Pac-12. You had a good day. This the closeout. This is Friday night.
Oh,
this Friday night.
Yes, it's Friday night.
But that's also scary too. Sounds kind of fishy.
Jumping.
Well, no, but that's the thing. That is, I'm glad you said that. Is that UCLA? First off, sports in LA. Period.
Yeah,
fan turnout is very weird. They're worried about Hollywood and all this other wacky weirdo stuff. No disrespect, Boston. I'm just saying from a fan's perspective, they don't get behind the teams, and that's one of the concerns. They don't believe as though a lot of the fan turnout, the fan base, the student section come out to this game because the city's just so competitive with all kind of entertainment on every corner. So it's not good.
Does anybody know if Washington travels well? Their fans? Because it's not like it's a park.
Yeah, Washington moves around.
But it's also
ain't nothing to do up there. They might as well go watch the game.
Right.
Get some sun.
But on top of that, it's still Houston. I mean, it's still Washington. I mean, LA, and it's one of the biggest cities in America. So you're gonna have a lot of people who are down in that area anyway. So with that being said, I'm gonna take Washington on the money line. I'm backing up this defense. I like Phoenix. The numbers definitely say take UCLA. I can't think of the quarterback's name.
It's DTR.
DTR, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's DTR.
Yeah. But so he's been there for a minute now, junior year. But man,
they just always seem
that money line
point to me though. Like they're just. Every time you like expect them to like take a step, UCLA,
exactly.
They just like Chip Kelly's been there how long now? 4 or 5 years, and they still haven't. I felt like
DTR was his first quarterback.
So at least 4 because DTR been there for a damn long ass time.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see, man. But
Boss,
with that being said, boss, you got any insight on this one? I mean, you right there.
Hey, I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna just add to the conversation. I got a good partner that's alumni for UCLA, and he'll tell you in a second, a 10-win season for UCLA is A-OK, doing business, top of the line. So I don't think it's the lights, cameras, or the action. Some of these organizations just stand for what they stand for. Like SC, on the other hand, is a private school, so they willing to put their money up and win. But I don't like Chip Kelly because he's real spotty, even though he's been playing these weak teams. Ain't no telling what he comes out with right here. And I can't really trust Washington until I see what that secondary over there on the defense develops to be without the defensive coordinator over there, because that was one of the high points of their defense was the secondary for a while. So that's why I'm off of this game. The over is great. The over is probably the safest play. I mean, who don't want to root for points with UCLA and Washington? But 66 takes a couple blunts to smoke before we get to 66.
But both of these teams are averaging 40.
They are.
Yeah,
I
seen
that.
that.
They haven't played nobody, but you know.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.